This is going to be video number 58 on your Firearms Defense channel. I'm going to do two things here. Since I didn't have time on the last one to demonstrate a Type 2 malfunction, I'm going to do that just briefly, and then I'm going to tell you about the Sig Mosquito that I have here and the purpose that I have it for. So anyway, I'm going to demonstrate the Type 2 malfunction just briefly here. Now, a Type 2 malfunction is brass high in the chamber. It doesn't fully eject. So to simulate these, what you do is you lock the slide back like this. Take a live round and run the slide forward on it, and this simulates brass high in the chamber, as caught round in the chamber like that. Now in a real one it might be a little lower in there, but it would still be high in the chamber. It wouldn't be low. Then you insert the magazine like this. Now to clear this, it's cleared the same way as a Type 1 malfunction is cleared. Note also that the finger comes off the trigger for this clearance of the malfunction. It's tap like that, roll the weapon over for gravity assist to clear the malfunction, rack the slide, the round will fall out, a new one will be chambered, and then you point right back in, point down range, since this happens in the middle of a gunfight. So anyway, that's Type 2 malfunctions just briefly. Now, having done the Type 2, I'll get on with the demonstration of my Mosquito here. Okay, this is a Sig Sauer Mosquito 22 caliber long rifle semi-automatic handgun. Now, some of you no doubt might wonder what I'm doing with a weapon of this nature, since everything else I've made has been about the Glock and the Sig and the shotgun and all of the real weapons. What am I doing with something like this? Well, what I'm doing with something like this is going to be the range weapon. This is going to be my LA County range weapon. This is what I'm going to use at the ranges around here. Now the reason I'm going to do this is it's identical in function to the big ones as far as punching holes in paper go. It's just identical in function. You can buy 100 rounds of 22 caliber ammunition for about $7.50, or maybe a little less if you get it on sale. Shooting it is absolutely dirt cheap. The mechanics of shooting it are the same, so that's what I have this for. And I'll probably, when I go to the range on any given day, I'll probably just take 100 rounds with me, spend the afternoon there, and have a day shooting. It'll be inexpensive, and yeah, be something different. Now, having said that, here's some things I'll show you about this weapon up close here. Yeah. The first thing is, it's almost identical to the P220 in function, except the only difference is it has a safety here. For whatever reason it has a safety, I don't know. Safety is ambidextrous. It's on either side of the weapon, as you'll note here. Up, you'll see a red dot. That means it's ready to fire. Now, why they have a safety on this weapon, I do not know. I have no idea why it's here. None of the other semi-automatic pistols I have a safety. This is identical in function, except it has a safety. That being the case, why would it need one? And the magazine is just a little bit different. The magazine, being a 22 caliber magazine, doesn't need as strong a spring in it. It's real easy to load these things. It has two little things here that you grip like this, and you pull a spring down and put bullets in the magazine. So it's real neat like that. It's real easy to load these up. This only holds 10 rounds since it's a California magazine and a California weapon, but I really like this feature on it. Now, you couldn't have this feature on a higher powered weapon, of course, because you'd run into a problem, having to have a weak spring. You couldn't have a weak spring. as I say, this thing, the single action trigger press is, you have to release the slide here like this. The single action trigger press is almost identical to the Sig. And here's the only other thing about this. Now, you shouldn't do dry practice with these weapons because you shouldn't let the hammer and the firing pin fall on what's supposed to be a rimfire bullet and chamber. But I can do this once or twice here and it won't hurt it, but I wouldn't do this as a regular practice. The trigger press is almost identical to the Sig. You'll notice real easy. And then the slide comes back like that, and then the trigger recycles about like that. Now, double action is a little bit hard on this as it is on its big brother, the P220. Double action is a little bit harder. But after that, after it cycles, once you fire the first round, all the presses are single action, so it's a little easier that way. Now, about the safety here, now, my own personal opinion is, since a trigger is not a hair trigger or anything like that, and weapons just don't go off for no reason at all unless you press the trigger and drop the hammer on the firing pin and hit a live round, you know, you don't have a negative discharge unless you press the trigger. So for this thing, my own personal thing with this, I'm just going to leave the safety off and just treat it like a P220 or a Glock. I think probably the reason they have a safety on this is they probably feel it's going to be a youngster's first weapon, and for that reason they have a safety on it for that reason. But that would be the only reason I could think of to have one on it. So that's just about all there is to this weapon. There isn't much to it. It's real simple, real easy to use, and that's the purpose it's going to serve. It's going to save me a lot of money, and I'm going to have a lot of fun with this. And that concludes video 58 here. I'll see you on the next one.